What's up, grinders? Welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to teach you how to learn a language via video games. Now, there is a lot of videos on this topic. You've probably seen a bunch of them before, and generally the way they go is they have a really cool title, thumbnail, all that good shit, and then as you watch the video, it's just basically a list of wishy-washy ideas that you could possibly maybe apply. And it comes down to basically play video games, look up words you don't know, and have fun. And maybe communicate with other people. That's basically it. But when you hear that, like, obviously, you do that, but at the same time, that's not really actionable. It's not really useful for you. And if there's one thing I hate, it's fucking pointless videos. So today, I'm going to give you some actionable steps that you can take. And I know these work because I'm doing these. So this is something that I'm doing because I've actually launched a second YouTube channel that is going to be fully in Chinese, where I'm going to be doing Chinese Let's Plays. Yes, that's right. I'm going to become a Chinese Let's Player. My first video will actually be popping up in a week, and depending on how old this video is, there may already be videos on that channel. Link down in the description if you want to go sub to it. Obviously, if you speak Chinese. Now, let's actually talk about actionable steps. So first up, the main thing you're going to have to do is figure out what level you are, okay? So if you're already at like an advanced intermediate level, then realistically, the only actionable step for you is play the video games and look up the words you don't know. I know, I literally just told you to do what all those other videos do. But the thing is, if you've clicked on this video, you probably aren't at that level. You're probably more at like a beginner, upper beginner, maybe a lower intermediate level, because otherwise you wouldn't be searching for these videos, right? So that's what I'm going to be facing towards today. That's what I'm going to like focus on, okay? Now, if you're an absolute beginner, games are probably off the table for you. It's probably not a good idea. It would be a waste of your time. You're going to spend a lot of time basically looking up every single word or idea that you can possibly think of, and it's going to become painful. Now, unless you're the type of person who can really push through that, I don't recommend it. Try something else first. However, if you're at like an advanced beginner, intermediate, lower intermediate, somewhere around there, depending on the language, this is definitely going to be of worthwhile to you, okay? So first up, it really depends on the language you're learning. Like let's say Spanish, okay? As an English speaker, you're going to be able to start a lot earlier on. You may even be able to start at the beginner stage. However, for a language that's very, very far removed, say Chinese with a different script, you're going to want to wait until at least the advanced beginner stages, okay? Because that's when I tried doing this, and it was really difficult at that stage. Okay, so first thing, what are we going to do? We're going to select a game, and not just any goddamn game, a game that you know. Choose a game that you actually know how to play, and make sure it's a game that is unchanging in its gameplay. It has a very, very simple idea to it. Maybe it's just a standard shooter, goes from one building to the next, or something like that. But you want something that hasn't got too many actual mechanics to it, because the more mechanics, the harder this is going to be for you. Get the most simple of games you can possibly think of, okay? Once you've chosen that game, and for me, I chose Left 4 Dead 2, which is, it doesn't actually come available in Chinese, but that doesn't matter for what we're going to do, because we're not going to be just using the game's interface to learn new words and maybe the voiceovers. In fact, that's not even going to be a part of this. That's going to be, depending on the game you play, if it actually has a translation or localization for you, that's going to be a given. You're going to learn from that, okay? But that's not what we're here for. We're here to actually get good at speaking, at understanding, at using the language in the context of that game, okay? So, the game I chose is Left 4 Dead 2. Now, it's a zombie shooter. You can go look it up if you want to, but you don't really have to. Next thing you're going to do is you're actually going to build a tracker, okay? So, if you have a look at my screen right now, what I've got here is a tracker. And what I'm doing is, I've called this Anki review, but this could actually be called something else, like just review in general, okay? Then I've got sentence mining, and then minutes of input. And the reason being is because basically, you're going to track how much review you do. You're going to track how much time you actually dedicate to sentence mining. And don't worry, I'll explain all these concepts in a minute. And then how much time you spend on input, and you're going to do this by the hour. And the reason being is because this is going to take a long time. Okay, you're going to be spending a lot of time. If you have a look at my list so far, I've done 67 hours worth of Chinese, okay? And I started about 2 months ago. Although I've done this in the past, this is my new tracker. And I also actually track the things that I've been studying as part of this. And you'll see here I've got practice speaking, about jumping, YouTube, recording, setting up set sentences for favorite YouTubers, etc. The reason being is because you want to go back and have a look, and kind of this will be your motivation moving forward. You want to see that you've made progress, okay? So, you built your tracker, great. Record your shit that you're going to do. Now let's actually figure out what you're going to do. So first up is you're going to go look up videos of people playing the game, okay? Now, if you don't know the name of the game in your language, easy. Go to ChatGPT and ask it, what is the name of this game in X language? It will tell you, and trust me, 99.9% of the time it will get it right. You can just go type it in Google and there you go. So you can see right here, I've got it in Chinese, so it's a 求生之路2. So that is Left 4 Dead 2. And what you're going to do, you're going to listen, and you're going to take notes. Now, you could do this in a notepad, like a physical one or a computer-based one, but you're going to basically watch this here, okay? So, for example, I'm going to hit play, and unfortunately for me, Chinese has 2 fucking scripts, depending on if you're using simplified or traditional, and I am learning simplified, but all these videos are in traditional. However, that is a burden that I have to work with, and I need to look them up. But what we're going to do is we're going to hit play.
单通当然是要走捷径啊，各位。
And what you're going to do is I assume at this level you already know the basic conjunctions, the basic grammar, you know, the pronouns, all that type of stuff. What you're actually looking for is things like verbs that you don't know regarding gaming, okay? So you're just going to keep watching.
看我这样跳。
Okay, so let's just pretend I don't know what this character right here is, okay? That one right there. Let's pretend I don't know what that means. It actually means to jump. So it's like 看我这样跳. Now, here, what I would do is I would type out this sentence in a notepad, and I would literally just go to ChatGPT and I'd ask it to explain that to me, okay? So if I'm going to do that right now, so I'd go 看我这样跳. Okay, I've typed it out, I've figured it out. If you don't know how to type it out, or you don't know how to figure out that character, for example, this really depends on the language. There's apps, you can just hand draw it and it will tell you what it is. So in ChatGPT, all you're going to do is you're going to copy in the sentence and you're going to say, break down this sentence for me into its parts. Okay? So all it's going to do now is break it up. So it's going to tell me what each little piece does. So the first character means 看, means to watch. The second means 我, I. Next, 这样, which means this way. And then 跳 means to jump. So you can see then it's going to give you a summary also down the bottom. Look at me doing it this way, jumping, or look how I jump. Okay, so that's it. Now, let's just assume that that is the sentence that you want to work with, okay? You want to learn this particular structure, okay? And you know what? Fuck it. I'll learn this structure with you. I already know it, but I'll learn it with you, okay? So I'm going to say, okay, well, I know the first part, 看, means to watch. 我 means I. 这样 means this way. And 跳 means jump. Okay, so I'm going to say, give me 10 example sentences using this structure. Okay? And then what I'm going to say is I'm going to remove the verb because I want 10 example sentences that use the same structure but with the verb swapped out, okay? Verb. And then it's going to generate 10 sentences for me, okay? So we're going to see it says, 看我这样打. So look at how I fight or watch me how I fight like this. Okay, cool. Then it's going to give me another one. 看我这样躲. So watch me dodge in this way, okay? 看我这样丢手雷. So watch me throw grenades in this way, okay? So now here you'll notice also that it's giving me this in a game context. If you want ChatGPT to really work for you, you can actually ask it and say, for all 10 examples, use Left 4 Dead as the examples, okay? And therefore it's going to generate examples based on that game using that specific structure. Now, once you've got that structure, okay, now what you do is these are called basically language islands, but you've got a language island with swappable components. Now, you're going to take this and you can put this into a program such as Anki, or you could write this down in a notebook. You could write out all 5 sentences and then you could just practice those sentences and then act out those sentences, okay? You could do it like that. Or you could go completely, absolutely batshit crazy and do stuff like I do, where I wrote literally programs that take in these sentences. So as you can see, this is a program I've written, and these are the language islands I've got here, and then I've got the Chinese component over here, and then I've got the pinyin at the end. Okay, now, obviously, the vast majority of you guys aren't programmers, but this doesn't mean you can't do this. You could do this exact same thing that I'm doing in Excel. You could do this in a physical paper book. It's just, You gotta find a way to do it, okay? And the whole idea is that you practice these structures with swappable components. So here I'm swapping out the verb in that ChatGPT example. I'm swapping out the verb, so we got sh, which means to shoot, or I've got guan, which means to close, and then obviously a component, men, so closed door. 救, which means to save, 打, which here means to hit. 看我这样打药. Oh, okay, so 打药, together it means to, heal. And then you got 跳, the original, to jump, okay. So you do this, then you practice those sentences, but you practice them each time with a different component swapped out. And you do that over and over. And now I wrote my own little program so that then it basically hits me with all those sentences and I just do this overall. Now, I've got a lot of sentences in here, okay? So this is the program that runs, and here's all my language islands that I've written for just this one game. Yes, this is all for just one game. The reason being is because I'm practicing everything related to this game, okay? And this is a very simple game, but it allows me to get good at speaking about everything that I would in this game. So, if I remember correctly, now these are, what it's going to show you right now is sentences that I've learnt today. Because I'm rusty with those, I should probably actually show you guys sentences that I've learnt in the past. So I'm just going to swap that over quickly so you guys can see. Okay, so it goes, where did you hear the smoker? So that would be, 你是在哪里听到吸烟者了? Now, you might be like, what's the smoker thing? Well, that's actually a character that exists in the game. It's a type of mob that you will encounter. That's the next component, okay? So if you know the game well, you know the types of mobs and characters you're going to encounter. You can ask ChatGPT what they are. Or, as you're watching those videos, you can take note of the words that they use for them. And I actually recommend that second one because depending on the region, the dialect of the language you're learning, people may actually use different words. So, for example, with Chinese, there's actually a few different ways to speak about the mobs that exist in this game, depending on if you're from Taiwan mainland, or Malaysia, Chinese. Okay, so you kind of figure out what you want, or they even just use English sometimes. But this is just an example, okay? And then you just practice through this. You do this like for 15 minutes, so I'd enter that. Yep, I got that one right. Let's go to the next one. Okay, I wasn't hit by him, so it'd be like, 我没被他打到. So, 我没被他打到. And if I look like I'm stressed now a little bit right now, it's because my brain is swapping between languages. And I've been knocked over by the entity. So you can say, 我被实体撞倒了. 我被实体撞倒了. So you can see I've got that. Now, I've practiced these quite a bit. I've gone through this, and then each day I just add a whole new bunch in here. So, for example, here is today's sentences that I've mined and I built out. And you can see some of these are having components swapped in and out. And then also the same over here. Here's a secondary slot. So that was the morning. This is the evening worth of study. Okay. Now, once you've done all of that, what you're going to do is you're going to watch a walkthrough of the game, preferably one without commentary. Again, this is not you playing. You just watch a walkthrough. The reason being is because you'll be able to see the types of words, sentences, and structures that you will need, and you're going to practice what you have been learning. So now I'm going to actually press play and do this. Okay, so he has a chainsaw in his hand, so I could just say, 我现在有电锯了. And I just killed that zombie, so I can say, 我打死那个僵尸. And then I can say that zombie ran at me, 那个僵尸朝我跑过来了. Okay, now I've turned around, so I can say, 我掉头了. 现在我帮助我的朋友. Okay, 现在我出去，这里有很多的僵尸啊。现在这个猎人他跳到我身上了。Okay, 我希望我的队友可以来帮我。So you see now, I'm just talking about everything in the game, everything I see. Okay, I just keep talking. 我希望我的队友他可以来把我扶起来。So I'm hoping my friends can come over and help me get up. 我现在听到骑乘者的声音, so I can hear the sound of a rider. Okay? And I just keep doing this over and over and over. And the good thing is, by watching other people, you can hit pause and you can practice. You can do the sentences. Once you get good enough, then you swap over to the actual game you actually play and you actually talk, okay? Now, what you're going to generally be doing is describing your environment, your thoughts, your feelings, all these types of things. And this will help you learn the language via the game. Now, again, this is actually not the game in the language. It's not localized. That, if your game is available in your language, well, that's obviously a win. You just look up everything you need in the interface and all that stuff, okay? You study that, then you do all of this on top. This is how I believe you actually learn via game, because one, you're learning different structures that you need in context from actual YouTubers, how they actually speak, okay, because that's real language, it's not textbook language. Two, you're practicing those structures with the help of ChatGPT, swapping in and out verbs and stuff, and I know some people are afraid with AI, they may learn something a little bit bad. I wouldn't worry about that too much. It's pretty rare. It really depends on the language, okay? Like, if it's a super small minority language, then yeah, okay, maybe you gotta be a little bit more careful type of thing. And then on top of that, you're practicing speaking, and you're practicing speaking under pressure, okay? So you can do it under pressure by actually just speaking as the game is playing, which will really fire up the neurons, or you can pause and think out your thoughts and say them, and then, hit unpause. And then when you finally get good enough, then you play the goddamn game. And if you're absolutely batshit insane like me, you're going to upload that shit to your own YouTube channel for the whole world to critique. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all in the next video. And if you're not there, well, then I will be making language islands about your demise.